Yeah, well, I think conceptually, you gotta really be fine and locked in versus zone coverage. And as a quarterback, you have to assess those things, make sure that you're seeing things within windows. And we all have to be on the same page in terms of, are we in the right spots? Is it within the right timing? Am I within the right timing to deliver the ball in the right space within the zone? Then you got, different pressures that can come off of these zone coverages, and you got different pressures that can come off of man coverage. And so, it's we necessarily don't look at that statistic. We haven't, but ultimately you look more so inward and you say, well, what's the structure and what's the overarching thing that I'm doing, and how do we have, answers versus all of the things that we see. And so, I think that stat could show a ton of different things. Ultimately, it comes down to the detail and the level of execution that you have. And that's something that I've talked about for years now. The importance of execution generally when you're out there on the field. It doesn't matter what coverage it is. It doesn't matter what technique they're playing, if it's man zone, if it's quarters, if it's cover eight, if it's two-man, whatever it is. It's about the level of execution, knowing everyone being on the same page, having it detailed out so everyone knows what they're supposed to do. And then I got to go execute it, and I got to, play the point guard and kind of set the table. And everybody has a unique role in that, obviously, but everybody owning that role and that they have, and doing it as a collective group, as a collective offense out there. So
Jalen, on this
a long-winded,
good answer.
yeah, tried to give you something. Yeah, man, it's just us talking about the collective, talking about taking ownership for what we can, and talking about how we move forward as a team so we continue to find ways to win games. It's really just teammates being teammates.
What was your takeaway in the conclusion of the meeting?
Say that again?
What was your takeaway conclusion of the meeting?
I don't want to make this about that, right? We got a short week. We got the division opponent coming in here. I enjoyed every second of it, and I'm enjoying every second of every opportunity we have to improve. And so that's what I've always made it about. That's what I'll continue to make it about. It's truly about the collective and what we do and the opportunities we have in front of us. And so everybody in this building just wants to take advantage of that.
What are you seeing out of the Giants defense?
I mean, they got a really good front. They've always had a really good front, starting with Dexter Lawrence. In the back end, they latch on the coverage really well, and they got really good players there too. So it's going to be a challenge, especially going into a short week.
That missed a deep shot to AJ. After getting a chance to watch it, what did you see on the play, and why do you think you guys weren't able to connect?
I think it's bigger than just one play in a game. One play in a game doesn't define the whole entire game. When I think about it this way, in the end, we had the ball as an offense, and we had an opportunity to go win the game, and we didn't. And being a quarterback, I take that very personally. I had the ball in my hands, and I didn't get it done. We didn't get it done, and so it gives us an opportunity to improve, see how can we grow from that and move forward. So that's really kind of where we've been at as a team, is overall just looking at the level of detail we have, and then really like controlling the things that we can, really focusing on that. And I'd say too, like mastering the ordinary, the little things that have gotten us, Just kind of how the flow of the game went. It's just kind of how the flow of the game went. I'm not thinking about those things throughout the game. I'm not thinking about how many times I've thrown the ball, how many times I've ran the ball, how many times if I've had 0 completions in a half, or maybe the number of yards we've thrown 4.5. You don't catch a feel for those things. I know they've even mentioned that, how the flow of the game went for Saquon. So it's a matter of having a very, very fine focus on each play and trying to execute that. And when I look back on that game from that standpoint, I guess the overarching standpoint, we had opportunities there, and it's just about taking advantage of those opportunities, and everybody has a unique role in that. Everybody has a unique role. Everybody's role is different. everybody's role is equally important. So taking advantage of every opportunity within your role so we can find a way to do what we want to do as a team.
You guys do.
We just got to lock in more on it, you know. It's not about making any excuses on it or, pointing in any direction. It's about doing something about it and controlling what we can. But to say in fourth quarters, like there was something we used to talk about all the time at Alabama of winning the fourth quarter. And I think that, looking back on it now, talking to Coach Saban, like it's a very important thing when you talk about winning games. Winning the fourth quarter and how you finish and how you establish yourself in the fourth. So obviously, we all got to play 4 quarters of football, and that starts with me and my operation and the level of the level that I'm operating the offense in. And so I got to be better in that. I mean, we had a conversation and caught up a little bit, but always good to get good direction from him and hear his voice and his perspective.
I don't want to make you feel old, but how does it make you feel when guys come in the league are saying that?
That make me feel old.
Okay.
That make me feel old. I got a lot of respect for his game. I know he's played for Coach Kiffin. He's a hell of a player. And he's honestly in a great situation to learn a lot. So rooting for his success. It has evolved over the years. I'd say that it has evolved over the years, and with that evolution, I've evolved, and I think we've all evolved naturally. Given the changes that we've had with play caller, but the knowledge for the game has grown, and so being able to see certain things helps, and then when we get tested with something, we learn from it and we improve on it, and so that's kind of been the MO on that, and it'll continue. I'll continue to challenge myself, and we'll continue to challenge ourselves to continue to take that route, handling all different types of pressures. And, now you're seeing some zero and you respond to that. Now you see some simulated pressures, and now we'll respond to that given the effort and the work that we put in. It's, I said this 2 weeks ago, however long ago it was, you can be on top one day and on the bottom the next. And so it's the perspective of a competitor that you can never get too high, never get too low. And, it's the NFL. And so, while it is an agonizing feeling, you have to take pride in everything that is required to win, truly take pride in everything that's required to win. And so I know this is a hungry group. I know we're hungry, and I know we're excited for all the opportunity in front of us to continue to improve. That's what matters most, because we won't go out there and win as individuals. We'll go out there and win as a team. Yeah, I think it's like having all the same ingredients but having a different chef in the kitchen. I think that's kind of what it's been for us over the years. And you can have the same ingredients, and somebody can make the same dish and it tastes different. And so ultimately, the whole objective collectively as a group is to go out there and find ways to win, and that's changed in how we've been able to do that over the years. And we're navigating that, but again, you got to look inward, right? What can we control? How can we master our detail? How can we be better with the things that we can control? Mastering the things that take no talent, and that's what Coach Sirianni's always talking about. And so that's always a day-by-day grind, and we're focused on that, and I sense that. And so, I'm happy we have another opportunity to go out here on a short week and go out there and play, and we're all for one and one for all on this thing.